thank you. Intermediate, our future introduction. Now, we've gone through a few tenses and tried to look at some of the differences between them. One of the reasons we use the future simple with will is when we make a spontaneous decision at that moment. And a classic is, you hear the phone ring and you go, oh, I'll get it. You make the decision at that moment. Future simple with will. Another reason we use future simple with will is when we make predictions with no evidence. I really like this one. Don't worry, I won't forget. Really, how do we know? We have no idea. So it's the same tense, but it's a prediction with no evidence. Future simple with will. Over here is the future simple with going to. We use that for a couple of reasons as well. One of the reasons is when we make a prediction, but we've got evidence. And the classic one here, you see really black clouds in the sky. You say, oh my gosh, I think it's going to rain. We still use I think, because still we're not 100% sure, but there's a lot of evidence. And that's one of the reasons we use the future simple with going to. Have a look at the structure of the future simple with going to. We use the subject, here it is over here, subject. We use the auxiliary verb to be, which you can barely see there because it's hidden in a contraction, it is. Then we use going and to plus the infinitive, okay? Another reason we use the future simple with going to is when we've made a definite plan in the past. We made the decision in the past. That's the future simple with going to. And there's a very similar tense that we use for exactly the same reason, which we'll go into next week, present continuous. Also used for plans and decisions made in the past. The slight difference is, and it's very minor, that present continuous is usually around meetings with people. But really they are interchangeable in my opinion. The difference is, the future with going to is also used for predictions with evidence. So that's a difference. One of the other things we looked at very briefly was present simple with the word might. We might do something. It's basically saying maybe, and we're not sure, okay? A couple of other things we had a look at today which came up in the lesson. The correct English is to say, I am going to buy some milk or bread. But you can also use a very common English expression which is gonna. Now, we use this expression and it's very common. I use it all the time. But remember, we say, I'm gonna buy or I'm going to buy. You can't mix that. And that was the problem that came up today. If you use I'm gonna means going to. Do not add the word to here, it doesn't work, it makes really bad English. I'm going to buy some or I'm gonna buy some. Remember that. The other one that came up today was a question from Roberto. What's the difference between this word and this word? I want something, it's an O sound, O like a clock, want. Whereas this is called a diphthong and it's a much longer sound. Have a listen, I won't. Oh, I won't forget. So that's the difference between want, which is very short, and won't, oh, which is very long. It's got that O sound in it. So this was an introduction to the future. Next week we're going to break this down and look at just a couple of aspects in a lot of detail. Great.